Do you feel guilty about spending money? Don't worry, most of us do. In this video, I'm gonna share some simple strategies on how you can save money while spending more on what you love. Hi, if we've just met, my name is Min, and on this channel, I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know about money so you can worry less and enjoy life more. If you're looking to get rich quick, this is not the channel for you. But if you wanna get wealthy for sure, then hit that subscribe button. In my last video, I talked about identifying major categories of spending and tracking where your money goes. And hopefully you haven't spent much at all since you're stuck at home like me. If you get through an entire month of tracking your expenses, or at least even a week, pat yourself on the back. That is a freaking good job. That was probably one of the hardest parts of your financial journey. So once you have visibility on where you've been spending your money, there's 3 scenarios you'll fall into. 1, your monthly income covers your monthly expenses with plenty of headroom to spare. Good job, you're doing amazing. 2, your income's about where your expenses are. You're doing all right, but I think we can do better. Or 3, you make less than you spend in a month. Yikes, let's fix that ASAP. Now, if you've watched my video on 3 big steps to understand about money, they are 1, you gotta make money. 2, you gotta spend less than you make. And 3, you gotta save and invest the rest. But before we can even get to number 3, you have to have a firm grasp on step number 2, how to spend less than you make. So how do we get there? First, let's look at the spending categories in our example. So let's say in the last month, I spent $2,500 in housing with my mortgage and utilities. Let's say I spent $500 on food, like takeout and groceries. Another $500 on transportation, like my car and my gas and my insurance. $700 on entertainment, like my Netflix, my games, and my hobbies. And lastly, $300 on other for miscellaneous expenses. So to continue the example, let's say my take-home income is $5,000 a month, which leaves income minus expenses as $500 or 10% of my income. If you're somewhere in this range, you're doing a great job, so give yourself a round of applause, but let's drill down a bit. Oftentimes, you'll find yourself buying a lot of things without even thinking. Take, for example, your Amazon history. So when your credit card bill shows up and it's much higher than expected, it's sort of a bit of a shock and you feel guilty. And this is a very reactive state. So how do you shift your mindset to really think about how to proactively spend your money? I'm gonna share with you the concept of conscious spending, which I use in my daily life. So I was just watching The Last Dance, and it reminded me of this quote from Michael Jordan. Get the fundamentals down, and the level of everything you do will rise. If you are able to build the foundations of conscious spending now, the rest of your financial life will be much, much easier. So there are a few core principles of conscious spending. 1, evaluate the need versus the want. Every big purchase falls somewhere on that spectrum. Number 2, consider the long-term and sustained value of that purchase. And number 3, do your research and don't impulse buy. So everyone has a threshold of what they consider a big purchase. Depending on your stage in your life, it could be $10, $50, or even $500. Personally, for me, this is about $100 or so. So let's use an example from my own Amazon history. So this is a 1 terabyte Samsung SSD. Now, of course I wanted this, but did I actually need this? If any of you out there have a MacBook, you know how small the space is on the hard drive. And especially for video editing, it's a nightmare when that space fills up. So I needed more space. And this also allows me to edit directly off of it because it's so damn fast. And in terms of long-term value, this is something I can see myself using every single week as it really makes my workflow much easier. And in terms of research, I've probably watched over a dozen different review videos on this. And because of my patience over time, this actually went on sale during Memorial Day. So I saved maybe 20 bucks off of it. Here's a bonus tip. To avoid impulse purchases, I use the 48-hour rule, which means I'll put it in my cart and I'll wait at least 48 hours before I hit the buy button. So by applying conscious spending, you get to spend money relatively guilt-free on the things you love, like your hobbies and your passions. But you also have to be honest with yourself. You have to be able to spend less on the things you don't love. For me, I don't spend much money on clothes or shoes. So my challenge to you is to look at your last few big purchases and tell me if you think they are worth it. Comment down below on why or why not. Let's face it, we all struggle with money at some point in our lives. But as we grow older, as we grow wiser, you have to realize that this is all within your control. And conscious spending is a huge part of that foundation. It prepares you for the future, it helps you plan for emergencies, and really provides you a roadmap for future bigger goals like buying a house. If this video brought you value, please give it a like. And if you want to learn more about approaches towards understanding money, hit that subscribe button for more videos. For those of you who have learned to save money, maybe a few hundred or even a few thousand a month, stay tuned for my next video where I talk about how to best utilize that money. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.